other important nutrients necessary for optimal health. Naturally, we carry an array of health and wellness supplements. McDowell's Immune Booster enhances your body's defense to fight colds and flu, boosts your immune system, prevents viruses and other airborne diseases. McDowell's Colon Cleanser prevents constipation, helps in removing toxins from the colon, detoxifies the body, and regulates your bowel movements. McDowell's Prostate Health prevent the enlargement of the prostate, improve urinary flow, and reduce frequent urination, especially at night. Moringa oleifera capsules are rich in minerals like calcium, potassium, zinc, magnesium, iron, and copper, vitamins like beta-carotene, vitamin A, vitamin B such as folic acid, vitamin C, D, and E. McDowell's Potassium Complex, used for treating and preventing low potassium levels, high blood pressure, preventing stroke, and aid in weight loss. McDowell's Triple Magnesium relaxes the muscles, relieves cramps and helps to control high blood pressure, improves sleep, and can calm the nerves. Magnesium is very important for the normal functioning of cells, nerves, muscles, bones, and the heart. McDowell's Ginger Turmeric helps to relieve pain, decrease nausea and enhance the immune function to help protect against illness and infection. Ginger turmeric has powerful anti-inflammatory properties and improves your circulation. Don't hold health back. Let health strike back. McDowell's, the better way to start your health. Visit Health Service Center, John Compton Highway, call 453-6417. Let your wellness be our stress.
It is well known that diseases like diabetes, high blood pressure, and other illnesses may restrict blood flow, which can lead to impotence and erectile dysfunction. This is why Enhance was formulated to meet these challenging health problems, which can reduce your ability to perform. If you're having problems maintaining your manhood, then reclaim your manhood today with Enhance. Enhance increases your energy level, boosts your stamina, and increases your endurance.
You can get your Enhance at Southwell VA4, Restorer Pharmacy Soufre, Knights Med Miku, Lay by Bar The Morn, Dexter's Place Jeremy Street Castries, Citygate Bar The CDC opposite the market, Plants Place Denry Highway, Arlette Supermarket Soufre, The Release Stress Bar Labrie Highway, Cool Joint Bar Victoria Schwazel, Prios Bus Stop 22, next to the Moshi Bus Stop opposite the Grosley Bus Stop. Prios Bar and Grill in Corinth, Grosley.
Enhance, the best a man can get.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluffs. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
Another wonderful, though I hesitate to say so, but just the same, another wonderful Friday afternoon to you, everyone. Thank you so very much for tuning in once again to The Real Issues with me, Shelton Daniel, your host and producer, alongside our technical operator, Alton Jaquan Joseph. We are without Terry Fenelon, but you already know that on Fridays, he doesn't come because he's otherwise engaged elsewhere. I hope you've been having a good day so far and a good week. It's, of course, our final program for this week. We air weekdays, Monday to Friday, holidays and weekends accepted, from 12:30 until 2 p.m. on the radio station Real FM, serving you on two frequencies, 91.3 for the North and 91.5 for the South. We simulcast on NBC Television, Channel 120 on the Flow Cable TV service. And we're also available on Facebook and YouTube live streaming. There's so many places that I could start, but I promise you that I am going to open the phone lines early today. I know very often I say that. That's why I'm happy when Terry is there, because the need to be, how we call that, generous, gentlemanly, to share the time with him obliges me to say, okay, I'm turning over to Terry, otherwise I'll talk and just leave him there silent, which I never want to do. Not for an always on fire guy like Terry. But when I'm on my own, I have to discipline myself not to overdo it. And I think Friday is always a good time to practice that, because Terry is not there and we have an intervening weekend where I want us to have as much interaction as possible. But let me begin by saying that yesterday I met an old friend. It wasn't long since we saw each other. We see each other quite regularly. You know, the kind of friend that if you're in a hurry, you wish you hadn't run into him because Powell knew long. Quite a few people are like that with me, and I'm like that with them. But yesterday, I was in a hurry, going to get something to eat. You know, this habit I've told you about of not wanting to eat before I come on air out of fear that, you know, the little thing in my stomach might cause me, while I'm talking, to burp into the mic and so on. Sometimes it happens even when I'm having nothing more but water, you know, when the water warms up. But that and for other reasons, I told him I was in a hurry, but he insisted we had to have a chat. No, come on, man. Just 2 minutes of your time. Of course, 2 minutes turns to 10 minutes, and then it's like you'll never go. And he was absolutely animated. He was agitated. He was riled up that he believes Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre, of course, we always call him Pip from 30, 40 years back. Pip should call the election. He should call the election. Stop delaying. Stop waiting. Call the election. And he used a word that I myself am very fond of. And I have always said, I think you've heard me say, that momentum is very important in politics. When you have momentum going forward, try not to lose it. Try not to break your own stride. And he said, no, the momentum is in our favor, but the momentum is it's decelerating, it's tapering off, it's tapering down and so on. We have to, you know, basically make hay while the sun shines. Seize the day, seize the moment. What's the Latin term for that? Carpe diem or something like that. That this is the time for us to do it. That, you know, we are losing momentum. You know, the kind of basic spring in our step that we have, you know, it's going away, and crime is a big reason for it. Twice we have lost elections, he said to me, and it's because we called the elections too late. We delayed in 2016. Well, I agreed with him on 2016. Yeah, I always felt that 2016 election, I'm not saying that was the only thing, but I felt that election was called, at least, if not more, 6 weeks too late. You know, Labour Party people were fired up, they were waiting, they were anticipating that election, and they were ready to go and so on. And every time that they thought the election date was going to be announced, they were told, you know, it was a case of to your marks, get set, and they're waiting. See you in Soufrière on Sunday. And it was like there was that enjoyment of the suspense of keeping them, you know, on the edge of their seat, and then, you know, not delivering that thing. And that happened a few times, until at one time there was one huge meeting. I think it was in the middle of October in 2006, and people were really fired up. They were ready to go out and to suck it to the UWP. And then once more, it was a matter of, to your marks, get set, okay, we'll talk again. And it didn't. And from that day, I could be wrong, you know, I just saw a deflation. I just saw a deflation in the excitement, in the exuberance of the Labour Party crowd, and like that energy just never manifested again. Now that's me. I'm not taking digs at anybody. Certainly not Dr. Kenny Anthony, the Prime Minister and political leader at the time. But people were expecting, you know, given it's the middle of October, and I think you need 14 days, whatever, from the writ of elections to nomination day, and another 7 days. So, you know, so 14 days in all that you need in order to call an election. Don't quote me on that, I could be wrong. But then it went on, and finally it was December 11, 2006. And things had changed. Another error that I thought was made, there was a 30-day period for what you call claims and objections, where voters list a concern that candidates can go to the electoral department and say, look, there are certain things that they need to be clarified and rectified with the voters list and registration. And the claims and objections period was ending, I think, at the end of October, or whatever date it was. And the UWP said, oh, they need more time to do this and that. But I think according to the Electoral Department rules or convention, it's only if the parties mutually consent. So UWP wants it. I think Electoral Department had to say to Labour Party, the other party, are you okay with it? And I think Labour Party said, no problem, give them the extra time. I felt that was a mistake also. Claims and objections, you should have been ready. You should have had your house in order. It's there for everybody. And I thought that was a mistake. But coming back to the point of my friend who said, 2 elections we've lost and that's what caused it. We call in the elections too late, and we did it in 2006, we lost. We did it in 2016, we lost again. I'm not sure that the 2016 election was called too late. The 2016 election, if you consider that the previous one in 2011 was at the end of November, and we call this one in the first week of June the 6th. Most times, if not all the time that elections are called early, it's almost always the Labour Party doing it. And I think you've heard me mention that before. Why is it the Labour Party is the one that seems to have that kind of unease, that tension, that weariness, that nervousness about going the full 5 years, that they always are the ones, almost all the time, who call elections 6 months earlier? In 2001, I think we could have gone until May 2002 because the previous election was in May, and May and the 3 months. Nobody wants to go the 3 months past the 5 years, where you can wait until that time, 90 days after, Parliament was last dissolved on the anniversary. I think you know the drill. I think hardly anybody ever uses that except if there's a national emergency. It shows that you are nervous. It shows that maybe you want to spend as much time in there. It doesn't send out. So usually, parties try to call elections, if not on the exact anniversary date, but certainly, within a month before, whatever. I don't think it's necessary. Certainly not this government that I feel has been performing, has given a good account of itself. And so elections were on May 23rd, 1997. Labour Party calls it on December the 3rd, 2001. And then they had about another 6 months that they could have gone. Now, they went the full 5 years this time, to December 11th. You can even say they went a little more than the 5 years and so on, 2006, and they lost. And then Stevenson King goes the full 5 years, November 28th. If you check it from December 2006, to November, end of November, November 28th, 2000, that has the full 5 years. It's a Labour Party. They win, and then they come in and, they still call it almost, 6 months before, whatever, in June 2006. And they lose. I don't know. I don't like the idea that after the debacle of 1982, where the Labour Party only survived for half its 5-year term and was voted out on May the 3rd, 1982, I just don't like the idea that Labour Party always seems to be the one who is, scooting quickly to call elections early. What does it say about you? But my friend insists that, crime is one of the things that we're losing popularity and we're losing support on and we should call. Well, I have 2 things I say on that. And I said at least this part to my friend. Good-natured, I said, haven't you heard that Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre has given his word, has sworn that St. Jude Hospital will be finished and commissioned and patients and equipment and staff relocated from what was meant to have been an improvised temporary accommodation at the National Stadium in Vieux-Fort, that it will happen before this term, which means that for him to go into an election before doing that, he said, no, that's nonsense, man. This is neither here nor there. This is not, nothing turns on that. This is not going to, move any needle whatsoever as far as it's concerned. I think not, my friend. I told you that, and I think not. Even to the point where Honorable Richard Frederick, who is so sure that the Prime Minister's word on St. Jude can be taken to the bank, it is something that you can also swear by, that Richard Frederick on his program said, Honorable Prime Minister, if St. Jude Hospital is not completed by the end of this term, I'm not standing for election again. Now, it's not that Richard Frederick doesn't believe Philip JP. I think he wanted to make the point that he is so certain and confident. He has so much faith in that pledge by the Prime Minister that he's saying if it does not come true, he's not running elections. He didn't say he has nothing to do. He said he is not running election again. He's not standing up for re-election. Now, people, I eventually told my friend, look, I have to go. I really have to go this time. And I really felt I needed to. Can you imagine if Philip J. Pierre decided to call an election before his solemn word about St. Jude Hospital is fulfilled? Can you imagine Shelton Daniel speaking in the voice of, say, Guy Joseph may be a lot for me, of Nancy Charles, on her program, in the Senate where she serves as a temp occasionally and where I mostly meet her when I do? Can you trust a man who gave you his word that he will not call an election until St. Jude Hospital is completed and commissioned, and everything and everyone, patients and staff, nurses and doctors, equipment and accessories are relocated from the stadium to St. Jude, and now he's calling an election and that has not been done? Can you trust this man on anything? Wasn't that what he said? Did not Richard Frederick, being so sure that his Prime Minister would keep his word, swear that he would not be running elections again? Well, why hasn't he stepped down? You know, can you imagine Nancy Charles? And I'm just using Nancy as an example. We know Guy Joseph, we know Dominic Fede, we know a whole lot of them, how they will be on that, and that will become the anchor issue of their campaign, and they won't stop at all, and they'll go. You know, can you imagine Nancy again? You know, I don't know why I have this affinity for using her as my illustration. When Alan Chasney made a surprise visit to St. Jude, they had so much to say as if he had no right to be there. Well, when Alan Chasney came out after that and said the UWP will finish St. Jude, he was ridiculed by many, but he knew what he was talking about, because he knew they would not finish St. Jude. He knew they could not finish St. Jude. He knew that the amount of work, that it was beyond their capability, and it would have to fall to the United Workers' Party to finish St. Jude. Well, he has called the election, and we can give you that the United Workers' Party will be the one finishing St. Jude. Can you imagine the propaganda value of that? And I'm wondering, my friend, who to me is a politically savvy person, could he not see that? Could he not see those kinds of things, that it is necessary for that to happen? I'll deal with the crime matter in just a while. You know, why is it that so many of us believe at any given time that we know better than Philip J. Pierre? And I'm not saying that maybe we don't, maybe we do actually know better than him. But isn't that a leader who has proven himself to us so much, to the extent that we can trust him? That we can, even when we have our little doubts and our little misgivings, and say, look, Philip J. Pierre has been so on the button. He has been so on the ball. He has been so well thought out and considered that on almost every issue and decision and plan that he has taken, it has come out absolutely polished and shining and well dusted and well done and well conceived and well thought out and well planned and well executed. That if Philip J. Pierre is playing it close to his chest, as most smart leaders do, but he is not committing, or he doesn't seem to be in a rush to call elections and so on, don't we believe he has had good reason? He has had good thinking on this matter? That he has contemplated it, that he's taken good advice from people and consulted and so on? We need to say, look, leaders are not people that we should blindly and unquestioningly trust and believe in and obey and so on. But when leaders have given such a good account of themselves as Philip Joseph Pierre has given, I think he deserves our trust. He deserves our confidence. He deserves us saying to ourselves, I would have called the election now, but I know Pip is a man. He knows what he's doing. And that's what I would say to you, my friend, where I had to run off. Now, where are we now, Jaquan, in terms of the time? Okay. In terms of the crime, I think as Terry and I, we touched on, many of us would agree, who love St. Lucia, who consider ourselves patriots, who are concerned for the safety and the well-being of our country, etc. We must not only see the crime and the homicides and the shootings only through the political lens. That's my disappointment, even with many of my brethren, my comrades. You meet them and the only thing that panics them about the shooting and the crime is, wow, Gasson, you think that thing will work against us in the election? Is the electoral and the political thing? Come on, people, there's a lot more at stake than that, than the electoral and the political. If it's crime as a whole we're talking about, there's been a lot of successes in crime. The police are scoring successes against crime. They are solving many cases, and even in the case of the homicides, they are making breakthroughs. They are having leads. They are arresting and charging suspects, although I believe they need to keep the public more closely informed, even when they have suspects. Police, you can do better with the dissemination of public information without compromising your case. You can say as much as it can safely be said, and don't say anything more that will prejudice case, that will cause, come on, you can do better than that. Sometimes it feels almost disdainful. It's like, I don't have to tell you anything, so we're not telling you anything. Like I've pointed out, police moved quickly after a woman was gunned down in broad daylight about 7:30 in the morning, on the Grosley bus stand. I think her name, Hermia Morrill, there's another name that she would have had, a maiden name and so on. And in less than, it didn't take a couple of weeks, the police had already made an arrest of a suspect. A guy who was from Vanna, but at the time he has connections in Choiseul. They arrested him there, Some guy called Paulogne, I think Michael Paulogne, whose nickname is Mad Crime. They had taken him in and so on. What has happened since then? He was charged, so his name can be mentioned. What has happened with the case? Is it stuck at some case management and so on? These are the kinds of things you can say. Well, Paulogne, who was charged for the 2021 murder of Hermia, so on, whatever, has had his first hearing. He is remanded back while whatever is being done. Do this kind of things. And it's not that you all are not doing it, because I'm happy to note, I kept on saying the police need to let the public know what their intel, what their inquiries are showing are driving those crimes. And I'll explain again why this is useful. I see it's happening a bit. I see it's happening. Because lately I've been hearing the police people, the communications people, Superintendent Victorin of the Northern Division, Deputy Commissioner, I think also Acting Commissioner, Ronald Phillip and others, when they talk, they reference gang violence. And that what's the difference? It makes a difference. When you tell people that the shootings are not just random, you stop people being spooked excessively and unnecessarily, and you give people an idea of what is driving the crime, that if you tell them it is pointing to gang violence, two things happen. A lot of people who live in those neighborhoods, they know about the gangs, They know who the members of the gangs. They ain't going to talk because, if it's a gang, it's a gang. Fellas will gang up on you, as the name suggests. And next thing, from stones will come crashing through your window in the night and even in broad daylight. Or a set of fellas will wait. When you turn to face one, another one behind you lash you with a post, another one prick you there. So a lot of people there. But when people might be on Miku Street on the day where people were shooting, gunmen were opening fire on whoever it was and somebody died. We're talking about an area that is near the Minor Basilica and near the Presbytery and Ave Maria School and KFC in the heart of town, And people should. Sometimes when people know the moment they see certain fellas pull up, and they see the way the fellas carry themselves and square up and so on, they know, get out of there. The moment they see fellas from opposing gangs or whatever show up in that area and they know, they're not there to smile or shake hands or do any kind of peace and love thing. People know, move from there. If you don't know, somebody might tell me, Daniel, move from there. Let me get out of here. They might not say anything, but they know. The moment people would have seen the two fellas who were on the motorcycle who opened fire and killed somebody, on Derek Walcott Square, while what was going on, some jazz or independence or battle relay event, and killed somebody. The moment people know it's gang and you tell them that, you have briefed them, they look out for certain things. And not only that too, When they know of the gang thing, they might see some activity, they might hear some chatter, they might hear some talk, you know. A certain guy told me that after Etienne Alphonse, a lot of you not know about him, a police superintendent, senior guy considered to be, one of our best in investigative work, detective work, was shot. Some guys who thought he was one of them, he was a bad boy and so on, they brought him somewhere and said, "Garçon, let nous foutre monsieur Balla hodia, monsieur oui, mais il prend Balla." Sometimes people can hear this kind of chatter of guys either reviewing or celebrating, or they might see some clandestine movements that they might give the police a tip that I saw something which may be related to that shooting, and they can do it confidentially. But when they have no idea. So it's a good thing you are doing, police, these days, that you are telling people that a lot of the recent spate of shootings are gang related. This is a good thing. You need to continue taking the public into your confidence in a measured way, so that people can have a greater sense, if not of peace, but they know it's not everywhere you see somebody looking a certain way for you to run and scream. But once you see, I used to work in Viewfort at one time, and the work I was doing was promotional, marketing, whatever, for a well-known local company. And as a result of that, in order to go and surveil places to see whether they were suitable for promotions and so on, I would find myself in areas of Viewfort that people would tell me, "Man, a guy like you should not go there. You should not be in that place. This is a place they kill people. This is a place they do this and that. Whatever place in the Mang, whatever place in how we used to call Bruceville before. There was a name we used to. Sorry about that. How could I forget? They used to tell me, don't go to those places. There are some real bad fellas inside there. People used to tell me the same thing about Denny River. I witnessed the shooting there. People used to tell me, don't go to those places. And then one day, when I explained to a businessman, now deceased, who was telling me, "Man, do not go to that place." I told him, well, I have to go to the place sometimes to put up a little poster, to talk to some business owner there, to find out what was that for the promotion. I said, okay, let me tell you something. Go there. And I said, sometimes I have to go there in the night to see what the vibe is and so on. He said, let me tell you something. Go there and stay up to what time? Because a lot of times when the fellas start to act up and they're pulling their piece and their gun and their knife and their is when they head bad already. Watch out for those you see who have been drinking, but sometimes just drink get into their head. And he told me what type of drinks tend to fire them up. They like, he told me there are certain types of drinks that they like to indulge in. Watch out for that. And I remember his last words to me, he said, "Garçon, I was leaving his place, his business place, to go to one of those bad places." And he said, "Kidemadu sir, souvent où est-ce bougla commencer, ka get bad, ka behave, ka get on mauvais, ka se pa wete là ou ça. Pa wete là tiye ko because de le hook ay passe dans ça, même si on coup de bouteille ou ça prend." And he told me, when you reach a certain time, whether it's 10 o'clock and so on, don't stay there, because around that time, the effect of what they have been consuming, because the fellas drink, and after they drink, they smoke. They smoke their weed and they drinking alcohol with it and so on. And that's when like their head gets away, they start to misbehave, and then it blows up into a fight. And before you know, honestly, I'm just saying that when the police tell people certain things, people can have a knowledge. There is no better knowledge than local knowledge, underground knowledge, neighborhood knowledge. People can know certain vibes about people and when they behave, and they know that, look, there was this trouble between that, and he believes that those fellas friends and the gang members decided they would take him out for that. Some time ago there was a guy who I think his nickname was Warface of Badini. He was in Mac. He got into some problem with some fellas and he slapped one of them. He left Mac and rode his bike up to Badini or where he was living. And by the time he was there putting his bike in his garage, a car pull up. A car pull up and some fellas and they open fire on him right there inside his family home or garage or veranda, and the guy was dead. Recently a guy was shot in Grozile. I don't know if it's true, but somebody quickly called me and said, look, this guy was in a problem, and they even told me he's with a woman, and the woman threw drink, threw drink in his face or on him, and he retaliated by throwing drink. And that's the last thing they knew. and they believe the woman call her boys or whatever. I said, wow, can you imagine that? And that's enough to kill somebody. But I'm just saying, I don't know if this is true. But this is the kind of things that when you let people know what is going on, they can say, okay, I saw an incident with this guy or whatever, and he was in a problem with a woman, and maybe the people are the woman's friends. I don't know. I don't know. If people kill people for such foolishness and so on. But today somebody sent me a picture. Wow. I don't know if it's genuine, if it's real, but they told me there was a shooting in Grozile last night, and the picture is of a woman lying face down, completely nude, naked. Even in her face down, you could see what looks like a head wound. I don't know if it's a gunshot wound. I saw something looking like a hammer or some kind of sledge thing on the side. Somebody seemed to have really worked her over. And the fact that she was nude or whatever is either a domestic thing, intimate partner, or she was surprised inside a house. These are the kinds of things that sometimes a little local knowledge, a little community knowledge, a little neighborhood, somebody who heard something, who saw something, who heard a quarrel, who knew that there's a possibility of something like that. And maybe the person who did that is smarter because they know a gunshot everybody will hear, But you give her a blow with a hammer or something in her head, it's only if you're right there in the same room that you will hear or see or anything like that. And so, police, I believe you all on to a good thing, But I have to tell you this. I don't think any of us who consider this our yard, our country, are happy campers with what is happening, with what now seems to be an orgy of shootings. And now it's not one person, no, it's 3 people they finding dead there. It's 4 people dead, it's Canel. And, I suspect VJ is the place where some people mistakenly call Canel, although now it's Canels, so many people in that Canels and Bananas business. Next month will be Creole Heritage Month, Journée Creole Month. We're supposed to have developed so much consciousness about our Creole, but we are butchering, our Creole consciousness and heritage with not understanding that in the Creole there is no pluralizing of banan. It's spelled banans, yes, but it's banan that it is. There is no plural in English or Creole, Next month, every year, Journée Creole, we are having such a, rapturous vibe and feasting and celebration and so on, but no still like bananas and canels and this kind of thing. I always make these little sides and take myself off focus. But this orgy of shootings that's taking place, one of them involve a woman and 2 men, another time 2 men by themselves. In multiples now it seems to be happening. And then anything where we could say, when last we heard something on Grass Street? When last we heard a killing at Fuasho? When last we heard a killing in Bruceville? When last? So right now they're being diffused all over the place. We're hearing it at Latuni, we're hearing it at VJ, we're hearing it at, all different kind of places now, multiples, Grozile, the fete capital of St. Lucia, and for enjoyment of the Friday nights and so many things now, young man dead, woman dead, this thing now, all over the place now. It ain't any escalated crime that you can point out, okay, for what was the name of Wilton's yard or so on. It's been spread out. It's like Bexon, a couple of people got killed in Bexon recently. So it's like they're sharing the pie, the criminal pie, the killer pie, the murder pie is being shed all over the place now. We can't be happy campers. Any of us cannot be. And given the heavy investments that this government has made in the police, Northern Headquarters, Custody Suites, Viewfort Police Station, restored and renovated and refurbished, and vehicles and mobile police station and mobile crime or forensic lab, and it goes on, and bulletproof vest and motorcycles and vehicles and all those sorts of things. I'm beginning to feel like we are a country who decided to have armed forces or defense force. We equipped it state of the art. We gave all the best and more modern and efficient equipment and so on to them. Lethal weaponry, firearms and everything and so on, and they're looking well pressed because their uniforms look so smart and but the actual fighting ability or the actual fighting results, you wonder if it's just a doll up and dress up, army that we have, because in some of the best things, they're not showing results. This is not to denigrate the police, but I think it's about time we saw some more and some better results, especially given the kind of investments that this government, led by the son of a policeman, has wholeheartedly and without any restraint given to the police. It is more than heartbreaking. It is discouraging. It is disappointing. I accept the police cannot be everywhere. That is why I am saying, let them operate more hand in glove with the citizenry, which I see signs they're doing more of. It's a great thing that police actually visited the families of the homicide victims, of the shooting victims. That's a great piece of community policing. There needs to be greater nexus and bonding between lawmen and the citizenry, and that's a very good gesture. Very good. People will be more inclined to talk to someone who comes and puts a hand around their shoulder and says how sorry they are and will do everything to try to solve this and to catch the killers. Great stuff. We want to see some results. Yes, you are having successes in crime as a whole, but there is no crime that is similar to. There is no crime that can be compared with. There is no crime that is the equal of when lives are taken, when lives are snuffed out in such horrific, frightening, violent ways. Real Issues powered by Blue Waters. I've crammed everything into the first half hour. When we come back after this commercial break, the lines are open for your calls, your comments, your suggestions, your reactions, and also your messages.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
We voting for
Castries Southeast. This Sunday, September 21st, the St. Lucia Labour Party proudly launches Lisa Jawa here, your candidate who will lead with compassion, vision, and strength. Join us in Ulster as we stand together with our political leader and Prime Minister, Honorable Philip J. Pierre, to celebrate leadership, unity, and progress. This Sunday, Ulster comes alive. Together with Lisa Jawa here and Prime Minister Pierre, we are moving forward together.
Lisa, we voting for. Lisa, we voting for. Hey, Lisa, we voting for.
McDowell's Supplements, an effective way to ensure you and your loved ones are getting the daily recommended intake of essential vitamins, minerals, and other important nutrients necessary for optimal health. Naturally, we carry an array of health and wellness supplements. McDowell's Immune Booster enhances your body's defense to fight colds and flu, boosts your immune system, prevents viruses and other airborne diseases. McDowell's Colon Cleanser prevents constipation, helps in removing toxins from the colon, detoxifies the body, and regulates your bowel movements. McDowell's Prostate Health prevent the enlargement of the prostate, improve urinary flow, and reduce frequent urination, especially at night. Moringa oleifera capsules are rich in minerals like calcium, potassium, zinc, magnesium, iron, and copper, vitamins like beta-carotene of vitamin A, vitamin B such as folic acid, vitamin C, D, and E. McDowell's Potassium Complex, used for treating and preventing low potassium levels, high blood pressure, preventing stroke, and aid in weight loss. McDowell's Triple Magnesium relaxes the muscles, relieves cramps and helps to control high blood pressure, improves sleep, and can calm the nerves. Magnesium is very important for the normal functioning of cells, nerves, muscles, bones, and the heart. McDowell's Ginger Turmeric helps to relieve pain, decrease nausea and enhance the immune function to help protect against illness and infection. Ginger turmeric has powerful anti-inflammatory properties and improves your circulation. Don't hold health back. Let health strike back. McDowell's, the better way to start your health. Visit Health Service Center, John Compton Highway, call 453-6417, let your wellness be our stress.
It is well known that diseases like diabetes, high blood pressure, and other illnesses may restrict blood flow, which can lead to impotence and erectile dysfunction. This is why Enhance was formulated to meet these challenging health problems, which can reduce your ability to perform. If you're having problems maintaining your manhood, then reclaim your manhood today with Enhance. Enhance increases your energy level, boosts your stamina, and increases your endurance.
You can get your Enhance at Southwell VA4, Restorer Pharmacy Soufre, Knights Med Miku, Lay by Bar The Morn, Dexter's Place Jeremy Street Castries, Citygate Bar The City opposite the market, Plants Place Denry Highway, Arlette Supermarket Soufre, The Release Stress Bar Labrie Highway, Cool Joint Bar Victoria Schwazel, Prios Bus Stop 22, next to the Moshi Bus Stop opposite the Grosley Bus Stop. Prios Bar and Grill in Corinth, Grosley.
Enhance, the best a man can get.
The voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
Appreciate your staying with the real issues on this Friday. It is the 19th of September 2025, and the telephone lines are open to take your calls. Pastor John Robert Lee, are you proud of me today? Am I doing well? Making you smile? Skinny of Skinny's Chicken, another man who always gives me, with a little bit of words that you can't repeat. About time to open the lines, Skinny. The lines are open. Am I going to get a call from you? All right, 487-9849. That's 758, the area code, 487-9849. That is the number on which you can WhatsApp call us. And you can also reach us via our regular trusty landline, which is 4533-911. And Robert Lee responds immediately with, multiple laughing emoji and says, very good. All right, so I'm making you happy. I got some good news during the break where someone sent me a picture of the woman who I thought was deceased from that attack in Grosley, and it says she's not dead and was not shot. Well, I think Japan had already clarified that for me. She was discharged from hospital last night. It looked so horrendous the way she was lying face down, on the floor of what seemed to be a step down kind of split level house and so on. I mean, it really looked bad. And the person says that he's a past teacher of that lady. So she has survived and has actually been discharged. I'm so glad to hear that. We'll probably get more details about that attack, but we have a call on the line. You're on the air. Real issues. Hello?
Good day, Shelton. Good day, Shelton.
Yes, good day to you.
Yes, I got it. Yes, it's really sad with the crime situation going on there in Kenosha. Yes, and for a bad venture to come and talk about blood must run, and we see the consequence. I mean, that is not something to be taken to score cheap political points, because everywhere else crime. But if you realize the trend, every time there is a no, things get quiet, and sometimes you even say that you don't want to speak too quickly, and things just get out of control. And if you realize the trend, most of these people is revenge, is something that was already going on. People are beef with each other and whatnot, and they come and they do these things. You don't know when this will happen. You cannot predict that. And it's just ridiculous. People saying, oh, the commissioner went on vacation. The prime minister is on vacation. Everybody. So I said, but what difference would it make whether the prime minister is there, whether the commissioner is there? It will still happen either way. So don't matter what, there will always win politics in the crime, because the politicians, a lot of them actually encouraging it and they rejoice over it, and it's really sad. Yeah, I'm really concerned, about that crime situation, and so we definitely, I mean, all of us have to play our part, because the government, the police cannot do it on their own.
Indeed,
Yes,
we all should be concerned. Yes, thank you very much for that.
Yes. Yeah, you're welcome, Shelton.
Yeah, and by the way, someone wrote yesterday that they don't think we should be using the term Badventist because it can be offensive. But I suppose it hints to the fact that they believe that they are good Adventists, Seventh-day Adventists and so on, and that people who are not misrepresenting, the religion, the church, the sect, however we want to describe it. There are some people who are really misrepresenting things, and I'll speak about that maybe a bit later. But because we have another call on the line. Hello, Real Issues.
Yes, Sheldon. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you.
Sheldon,
speak up a bit. Your voice dropped right there.
All right. There are times I have the feeling these killings have a mastermind behind it.
Think so?
I'll tell you why. Because when you hear the opposition, the way they sound, the statements they make, they've made it clear that they have to win this upcoming election. And I'll actually say, if they don't, like they're through. What is the best way of doing something that could make the government look very bad is not killing some people? I have a feeling these fellas, like Guy Joseph rightly said, he said it, not me, that the killings that you see there, he said it could be ceremonious, it could be
ritual killings
and whatnot.
And he said something to the effect that blood must run once the Labour Party is in government. Yeah.
I'm making it perfectly clear. I am disappointed with the Commissioner of Police. Mm-hmm. I just came from tour a while ago, Sheldon, and I went through a few streets in Castries. I barely saw a police in Castries. When this Prime Minister has injected over 200 police, where are they? Where are the police? I mean, if you don't see police in Castries, where else are you going to get them? In the bush? You go in Castries right now, with all the motorcycles, okay? With all the new Toyota Highlands. The commissioner seems to be speechless. With all what is happening there, he don't come to he doesn't hold a press conference and assure the nation that they're doing X, Y, Z. I am disappointed with this guy. I'm being very honest. Whereas I agree, a police officer cannot be everywhere, and a police officer is more or less there to make arrests. But I'm telling you equally, the visibility of the police officer. I mean, look at the Mary Terrace killing. The police station is in that main road. You go to Grosville and see if you see a police patrolling anyway. I mean, Grosville is a flat surface. They could even have bicycles if they wish. Take a cool walk. Get out of the office. Look, the government is spending millions to make them comfortable. And I am too sure if they will that. Look, man, I am putting it the way I see it. Whereas I agree, I repeat, that the police cannot be everywhere. But you cannot tell me, Shelton, the Castries is the capital of this country. You go up to Rodney. Am I wrong to say, well, the government, I thought I heard on the news that an injection of 200 police officers has been injected in the force. You pass in Castries, tell me if you see what you see. So, nothing will pass those, I will put nothing past the opposition with their desire to destroy this country. They will go a mile and a half to see that happen. And if they have to kill to make JPL look bad, they will enjoy doing that. Have a good afternoon.
Okay, thank you very much. 487-9849, that's the number on which you can WhatsApp call us, and you can also reach us on the landline 4533911. And there's also platforms where you can send messages, WhatsApp messages to us. I'll tell you a bit more about that after this call. You're on the air, Real Issues.
Hi, Shelton.
Hey, my friend, how you doing?
Not too bad. How are you, my brother?
I'm doing okay.
Okay. Shelton, listen. Something else that is offensive, at least to me. You mentioned somebody sent you a note or, whatever, saying that, people must stop using this, Badventist, thing because, it sounds offensive.
Yeah, speak up a bit. I don't know, like the voice.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Shelton, here's something else that is offensive, at least to me. And I believe people must stop saying that. especially people who ought to know better. Shelton, you see this new phrase that has taken hold of at least some people. This thing about after God is Philip J. Pierre.
Yeah.
They need to stop that, because some of these people ought to know better. Stop it. Even though it may sound good to them, stop it. Because this is not true. It can never be true. Whether you say it in your jest, whether you say it because it sounds nice, it sounds like a good slogan. Stop it.
Why do you find? Because at least it gives glory to God as being the paramount and principal, and above whom there is no other. And it says that after him, it's a man and so on. Why? So in other words, it does not. Hold on. It doesn't put Philip J. Pierre in the place of God. It does not purport to supplant God with Philip J. Pierre. So I just want to find out your thinking on that.
Shelton, God, Jesus Christ said, when somebody called him good master, he said, no, you're calling me good? There is none good save the Father. He also said, my Father is greater than I. So after God, it can never be Philip J. Pierre. People must stop that.
Okay, my friend.
Okay, anyway, one other thing. Shelton, like one or two of the callers before me, who spoke about, the deputy leader of the UWP, Guy Joseph, talking, Shelton, I was so shocked when I heard that. Guy Joseph talking about blood will run in this country because in the SLP there are people who practice ritual, people who practice obeah and voodoo, and people who are sexual deviants, orgies, people who practice orgies, engage in orgies. I was so shocked. I couldn't believe that was coming from the deputy leader of one of our main political parties. And what that suggested to me, Shelton, two things. One, Guy Joseph, I believe, has finally realized that the UWP cannot offer any viable alternative in terms of government to what the SLP is now offering, in terms of its performance in government after only about 4 years. Secondly, based on what is now coming from the Guy Joseph and the other UWP and the other UWPs, especially the head honchos, soon on the UWP platform, we'll see figures like Willie Outrageous from Lord Nelson's King Lear, as well as Tanti Mull from Paul Keene's Douglas, Tanti Mull at the Oval. We'll see those figures appearing on a UWP platform based on what is coming from Guy Joseph and the rest of the UWP head honchos. Thanks, Shelton.
All right, thank you very much. Folks, what I find really bad about Guy Joseph? Guy Joseph is a minister of religion, a minister of the gospel, a preacher, an elder in a church, a Christian church. But yet I find he is so ingracious. I find his political platform appearances are so divorced from and devoid of any of the supposedly saving grace that you would expect in the utterances of someone like him. Guy Joseph likes to bring religion into the politics when it is convenient, but he never tries to bring prayer. Have you ever seen Guy Joseph say, look, things are so bad in St. Lucia, I think before I say anything, I would like to spend at least 2 minutes praying for my country. I want to spend 2 minutes praying for the country, for the crime that it is in it and so on. He mounts there and he tears into people. Almost always, of course, the opposition. They are the damned. Your opponents. They are the ones who are going to hell. They are the ones who can never see God because they support the Labour Party and Philip J. Pierre. And at the same time, he tries to spiritualize it by making it look like every bad person you can find is in the Labour Party, and sexual perverts and deviants and orgies and all these sorts of things. I find he is using references to the gospel only to further the cause of polarization, partisanry, enmity, and those sorts of things. For a minister of the gospel, someone who has tasted and experienced and lives in the saving grace of God and Jesus Christ, he is just too ingracious. He's just too divisive. He's just too off-putting and polarizing. There is nothing pertaining to reconciliation and grace or love for the country that he will say, people, let's all stand and pray together for 1 minute of my presentation. Nothing like that ever comes out of him. You know, this is what I find about the guy, so objectionable. We have a call on the line. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Yeah, Shelton, what's up?
I'm doing okay.
Because Moses said, listen, at least more back ID Kenny Cody.
No, how about I say black as
Shelton, guys, où chercher ça nous fait campo avec Zodia.
Oui.
Les campo a pas bien. Et là nous kan pour campo, nous kan pour jeter.
Là on no campo Bosco. Là on no campo qui Bosco.
There you go. Bon, moi quand dis ça Sheldon. Pour dire that que c'est beaucoup la try manufacture chassis tout différentes manières. Like you even to the point right now that que chassis même pas bon pour un PS cricket match. Because toute manière you bowl like chassis cap on other side là. And tell me, Sheldon, let's look at the reality of things. Among the guys that are trying to manufacture all different ways they want, seen as if like he's a visionary leader and this and that and all kind of nonsense. But a visionary leader cannot come up with a proper manifesto. What kind of a leader he is? Tell me. Because if you cannot come up with a manifesto to say, okay, well, that is what I'm going to do and that is what I'm going to do for the country. Okay, and you have to put some kind of stuff out there. Asking people is like, you know, what ideas do they have and blah, 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 whatever the case is. What kind of leader are you?
I don't know, my friend.
C'est même quoi campo qui va boire cricket match.
Yeah, ça c'est un campo Bosco.
Un campo Bosco, frère. Un campo Bosco. C'est pas rien de ça, baby, BGT. Nous pas jouer puis because l'on boule puis tout il prend left égal right. And no, seriously, because when I see Mitt come out with that thing, asking people, give ideas for a manifesto, I say, what? Them fellas reach the last bridge.
Yeah, but he cannot he cannot get ideas because
no, he has no plan.
The people that he chooses to be his sidekicks and to work, well, they tell me there's no sidekicks. It's only people who submit. Submission people, not sidekicks is what he has.
Exactly.
Now, when you choose people, not for their capabilities, not for their competence, not for their resourcefulness, but simply for their willingness to say yes sir to you on everything you say, you do not have people of the caliber who can contribute ideas and so on. So that's why you now have to put it up as a public raffle for everybody to take a chance, giving you said, just look at the caliber of people that this guy has around him. You know, including some as candidates. You know, some of whom, while you don't want to be too cocksure and so on, but you see they stand absolutely no chance. What chance would a Ross Clark stand against Richard Frederick unless there is an earthquake, there is a tsunami of change or something unexpected that comes up and that happens, you know? What chance would Laura Jean-Pierre, who's nobody's fool, I must say, in terms of having some education and whatever, but what chance does she realistically stand against an Alva Baptist, you know? Because she's not a person who's a people's person, I understand, not connected. She's not politically aware. She's not political conscious. She doesn't have political smarts about her. She may be good for a talk show, whatever. But these are the people you have because these are the people who are going to basically be submissive to you and count out whatever you want and say. You know?
But Sheldon, you know how it goes. It's like, say, for example, you come in to give somebody an idea of maybe something you have in mind.
Is that our caller there?
And it's like, yeah.
Okay.
And knowing it's like, you know, that person really is like, is not going to accept what you say. Man, it's like you just stifle yourself and just stay quiet and don't say anything.
Yeah.
Because you already know exactly what would be the feedback out of that.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And that is the kind of way these people are coming to us and just even if they have ideas, The ideas that they have, who's gonna umbrella it?
Well, I can tell
because
you
he doesn't accept.
Well, I can tell you there are few of them who came in and are pretending to be submissive because they know if they don't do that, they wouldn't get a foot in the door.
Exactly.
In terms of but they are hoping that they can go into that election that he will lose, and that maybe now they will be able to reform and restructure the party without him, and that some of them will go to leadership positions where he will not be the one calling the shots. I don't know how lucky they will be with that, but there are a lot of them who are hoping that the election result will be a signal, an encouragement, an impetus for him to step aside so they can do something more useful. That's what I can tell you. Thank you very much. All right, Real Issues powered by Blue Waters. We take our final commercial break, and when we come back, we'll be ready for more of your calls and your messages.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real Issues, 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
We voting for
Castries Southeast. This Sunday, September 21st, the St. Lucia Labour Party proudly launches Lisa Jawa here, your candidate who will lead with compassion, vision, and strength. Join us in Ulster as we stand together with our political leader and Prime Minister, Honorable Philip J. Pierre, to celebrate leadership, unity, and progress. This Sunday, Ulster comes alive. Together with Lisa Jawa here and Prime Minister Pierre, we are moving forward together.
Lisa, we voting for. Lisa, we voting for. Hey, Lisa, we voting for.
McDowell's Supplements, an effective way to ensure you and your loved ones are getting the daily recommended intake of essential vitamins, minerals, and other important nutrients necessary for optimal health. Naturally, we carry an array of health and wellness supplements. McDowell's Immune Booster enhances your body's defense to fight colds and flu, boosts your immune system, prevents viruses and other airborne diseases. McDowell's Colon Cleanser prevents constipation, helps in removing toxins from the colon, detoxifies the body, and regulates your bowel movements. McDowell's Prostate Health prevent the enlargement of the prostate, improve urinary flow, and reduce frequent urination, especially at night. Moringa oleifera capsules are rich in minerals like calcium, potassium, zinc, magnesium, iron, and copper, vitamins like beta-carotene of vitamin A, vitamin B such as folic acid, vitamin C, D, and E. McDowell's Potassium Complex, used for treating and preventing low potassium levels, high blood pressure, preventing stroke, and aid in weight loss. McDowell's Triple Magnesium relaxes the muscles, relieves cramps and helps to control high blood pressure, improves sleep, and can calm the nerves. Magnesium is very important for the normal functioning of cells, nerves, muscles, bones, and the heart. McDowell's Ginger Turmeric helps to relieve pain, decrease nausea and enhance the immune function to help protect against illness and infection. Ginger turmeric has powerful anti-inflammatory properties and improves your circulation. Don't hold health back. Let health strike back. McDowell's, the better way to start your health. Visit Health Service Center, John Compton Highway, call 453-6417. Let your wellness be our stress.
It is well known that diseases like diabetes, high blood pressure, and other illnesses may restrict blood flow, which can lead to impotence and erectile dysfunction. This is why Enhance was formulated to meet these challenging health problems, which can reduce your ability to perform. If you're having problems maintaining your manhood, then reclaim your manhood today with Enhance. Enhance increases your energy level, boosts your stamina, and increases your endurance.
You can get your Enhance at Southwell VA4, Restorer Pharmacy Soufre, Knights Med Miku, Lay by Bar The Morn, Dexter's Place Jeremy Street Castries, Citygate Bar The City opposite the market, Plants Place Denry Highway, Arlette Supermarket Soufre, The Release Stress Bar Labrie Highway, Cool Joint Bar Victoria Schwazel, Prios Bus Stop 22, next to the Moshi bus stop opposite the Grosile bus stop. Prio's Bar and Grill in Corinth, Grosile.
Enhance, the best a man can get.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
Baptist Elder John Robert Lee says, you can quote me, we must speak out. Those platform statements are reprehensible, shameful, horrendous, and they come from a supposed professing Christian leader. We must all say no to those kinds of shameful and incendiary statements. No matter our religious or political positions in this liberal democracy, we do not need these calls to incite violence, hatred, division. St. Lucia is and can be a better place. Real Issues powered by Blue Waters. We have 2 callers waiting. Let's take the first one. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, Sheldon.
Hi, good afternoon to you.
Yeah, and if you have a guest there, good afternoon also. I was just saying, what you were saying a while ago caught my attention. How can you send up a rush clock against a mighty veteran, a lawyer, a professional man? And then you find a woman you send for Vieux-Fort South, a weak candidate, very weak, not political savvy, always sick, have health issues, and not a people person. These are, Shasni don't look at these things. When you're going to be in politics, you have to be a people person. You have to be high-powered. You have to be political savvy. The other woman for Labrie, you're selling that against another kingpin, Alva Baptiste. Then you're sending another one for Grosile. All these women, not one of these women will place. Not one will come close to even getting 1,000 votes. So I'm saying, and then that's the reason why Shasnis choose these very weak people. Because it's not about what they can bring to the party, it's what he can dictate to them and tell them to push them, because he's a dictator. And apart from he himself is not so political savvy and he cannot represent St. Lucia abroad, how can he send any of these people, Rush Clark, the Vieux-Fort woman, the Labrie woman, the Grosile woman, how can you send these weak people to represent St. Lucia abroad on government matters? You don't see that guy is a joke? Mayor Motley, that other where you used to work over there, Antigua, what do you call St. Vincent. All these people have made fun out of Mate, out of Chasney. They're looking at Mate as a clown, as a joker in a circus. And worse yet, these women gonna leave their job where they have loans and family and everything to go and join this clown on a bridge to nowhere. I just don't understand what's wrong with the intelligence. What's wrong? What money they can get to pay their bills and stuff like that and put themselves under Alishas? That will never get nowhere. I just want them to pull the rug on the Alan Shasney, pull the rug in that Deriso South, Daraso, in that Daraso. I just want to never hear Met name in politics again in St. Lucia. Because what he is now is the white clown massa that people follow in, and they're thinking the white man can take them somewhere. If you're looking for a white man, a dunce white man, and it's because his color, that's why they have him there. Because they're thinking he can, but at the same time, he don't love none of them. He is not looking for any, just have a bunch of fools following him, and to give him power so he can work his way and abuse them, sell all the lands, bring family, friends, and everything, and that's what he's looking for. I don't see nothing in this man. Whatever the people see in this man is his color. and they're looking at him as superior, and that is why all these people are following. It's not anything they'll get onto him. Thank you so much, Sheldon.
All right, thank you very much. Thanks a lot. Someone says the SLP will make the biggest mistake of their life to call it, meaning the elections, before the hospital is done and over. Okay? And the person says to me, please tell him, don't call it not until next year, February or March or April. That's not my rule, to say for me to, tell the Prime Minister that. The Prime Minister is a very well-measured, considered man, and, even Titus Preble said it. He's not a man who does things vitae as if, is a quiz or a vap that take him. The Prime Minister is a very well thought out, very well measured, very well considered man and so on. Very strategic, well planned and so on. We have another call on the line. Real Issues, you're on the air. Hello.
Hi, good afternoon, Shelton.
Hi, good afternoon to you.
Shelton, I heard someone message you and say that to refer to us by Joseph as a bad Adventist is somewhat offensive.
Somebody yesterday who said they said don't mention their name. I wish okay, but go ahead. I'll probably find it.
Yes, but he is the one proven himself to be a bad Adventist.
You know what they're saying? To do that, sometimes other people who don't fall into that category, because they are conscientious Seventh-day Adventists, you might end up causing them to feel a bit of offense.
But we have to be real here, and we have to not take this thing out of context. We are not referring to all of them as that. Yeah. We're referring to him as that based on his track record.
Yeah, okay.
Listen to me. By the fruits you shall know them. The Bible he likes quoting a lot. Christ said, by the fruit you shall know them. He called such people like this gentleman wolves, raven up wolves in sheep's clothing. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh. This gentleman from Forestier who wants us to put him into power, to represent us and come and rule us and govern us, is showing and saying and proclaiming what he really is and who he really is. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh. Thou shalt not lie. I have to send him that. He likes quoting commandments and quoting the Bible. One of the 10 commandments is thou shalt not lie. That's to him. Right? Does he represent anything that looks like what Christ stands for?
Okay, my friend.
He said he will not steal. I heard him on a platform. He will not steal from the country. He will not steal from anybody from the country. He will never steal from the people of St. Lucia. I just want to ask him about the materials he went with cops. The St. Louis materials he went. And up to now, he cannot account for them.
Okay.
This gentleman denigrates people. He disrespects people. He tears people down. He deliberately gives misinformation. He's on record as saying his grandfather was in voodoo. He could have just work alone. The work 3 or 4 people would do. He would do it alone and stuff like that. And you want to come and talk about do those nonsense. The man said blood must run. I've never heard the guy condemn those things. And people like Tommy and Titus, church-grown people, home Christian-grown people will follow a man like that. These gentlemen sat in cabinet when they stopped the funding for the blind school, when they stopped the distress fund. The Bajoa letter up to now, stopped the training volt. And now you all want to come out and talk about crime. You all want to play like you all care for people, the poor people, and what have you. This is what this man represents. A bad Adventist, in my humble opinion. He has proven to himself and those who follow him and St. Lucia and the world what he really is, and his mouth says it, his utterances says it, and we cannot put people like that who crave power into politics ever again. So I'm speaking to the people of Forestier and the surroundings of his constituency who will think twice before they go and put an X by this gentleman's name. Take care.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. I was trying to get the message yesterday. I shared it with Terry during the break, and somebody said, they don't want me to read it on air and so on, but basically it was a suggestion that they were making, that we don't give any impression that we are lumping everybody together. We have another call on the line. You're on the air. Go ahead. Real Issues.
Good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon to you.
I'm calling from the Republic of Labrie. Laura Jean-Pierre cannot, will not bring the seat for Flambeau. We from Labrie, we are standing with Alva Baptiste and Philip J. Pierre. Have a good afternoon.
All right, thank you very much. Short and sweet. Landed it right there and decided to scoot at the same time. Let me see, I did save some. But we are taking your calls, and don't forget you can send your WhatsApp text messages by going to realfmofficial.com or mbcslu.com. You'll see the link for WhatsApp messaging. Click on it, type your message in the box, hit the send button, and we'll see it instantly. We have a caller on the line waiting. Real Issues, you're on the air. Hello?
Mr. Sheldon Daniel.
Hey, forward la Kinovelo.
Yes, Mr. Sheldon Daniel. Good afternoon.
Good
afternoon to you.
Yes, good afternoon to you.
Mr. Sheldon Daniel.
We forward la, makatan work maka wepono.
Yes, but someone mkadi. We many 125 new selected pieces of prayers in time of need. Ma jamais tant pièce qualité ces paroles ça c'est WhatsApp a sorti en pièce morceau la prière. Son amandé comme question avant. Côté hier moun na ki ka joine tout ça ka di blood moshed toutes ces paroles là ka di a moi vle di me ki tap ça hier pour me marcher. Et pour moi ouais avec moi tant avec moi comprendre. Ma jamais tant ça for my age. Si yo chrétien qui yo ko c'est chrétien, c'est chrétien, et pourquoi servir ce WhatsApp là? Pourquoi mettre toute cette qualité vieille décision? Lui de cassis pour ton calculer, oui parce qu'il a mangé. Ou quoi ça son parole vous quoi dit? Si tu as un ministre, ou pas ça service ça. Ou pas ni pour dire c'est pas ça, il prend pièce Bible, il prend pièce frère. Ou ton so moun na koto kwa bo se pa ça ou di la dimeti chapter yep moi acheter ça c'est vieille parole vieille décision si on va manger il va manger c'est pas ça qui est pour la politique ou quoi mener bon ça ou quoi faire ban nous ou quoi mener la prière des autres ka répondre Dieu moi ce parole qui bon mais tout ça on peut parler bloodshed blood by sea blood by là. Bon, qui ça les autres qui calculent ou qui dit souni pour faire ou même qui fait. Ça pas parole.
OK.
Papa bon Dieu pas de parti qui fait ça. Il parti qui dit nous était bien, il qui prépare une place pour nous pour là il qui dire. Et qui dit nous tout mouton qu'on a voix. Les trompettes là bleu tout mouton qui savent c'est lui qui vient garder pour nous. Love one another as I love you. Là, c'est parole pour parler à bagaille politique, parce que c'est des paroles ça. C'est ça, moi, je me dis, ça a brûlé, moi, acheté ensemble, 125. Ma jeune ni ma way. So, dis-moi qu'il laisse chapter way, là, s'il vous plaît. Blood moshed, par ici, par là, comme si du son bail, quoi, crier. Merci, Mr. Sheldon Daniel. Et tout le monde qui a fait voix forward là. Rappelez.
OK, forward là. Merci un peu. Passez un bon Western journée, un bon weekend. Tricky, you've been trying to call us.
yes, Sheldon.
How are you doing, bro?
Yeah, I'm
sorry
good,
about
man,
that. I don't know why. And folks, you were on the line, but we couldn't take you because the forward law was on. As soon as Tricky is done, I am going to call you myself. Go ahead, Tricky.
Yes, Sheldon, you know. There are two things I want to say today. Whenever a man shows you who he is the first time, believe him.
Okay.
And you know, it's not like we hadn't seen Shasney's performance before, or lack of performance before. And if we know what's good for us, we're not dabble-dabbling in this. Look at what's happening in the great United States of America right now, where they're canceling culture. The government seems to have a stranglehold on every institution. And we cannot afford to have that happen in St. Lucia. As for the Badventist, I will let the Adventist deal with him in his constituency, because he is attacking the very bread and butter issues that they are concerned about. The other thing too, is Babono. A little birdie told me that Titus Preville does not have the support of the former parliamentary rep. And I will leave it there, let it sow seeds, and let it grow. Have a nice weekend, my brother.
All right, thank you very much. Thanks a lot. Do we have another caller waiting? All right, let's take that other call. Hi, Real Issues, you're on the air. Go ahead. Oops, all right. Seemed like this one had been waiting longer than they could bear. Let's see if I can get Jude Pokes Harlow on the phone. I think he's been trying for a while. Pokes, you on the line?
Yeah, that's it.
All right, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, bro. Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon to everyone in the hearing of my voice.
Yeah, good afternoon to you.
Just want to say that if Kenny Anthony did not step down and allow Philip JP an opportunity to lead the party, today he would not be that good prime minister that he is, doing all this good work for St. Lucia. So St. Lucians should realize which set of people are in the interest of St. Lucians and which set are not. Now, I'm always one who believes that there should be opposition. But as we know, that side, like Terry would say, those guys are not ready yet. And my advice to people like Fevrier and Tommy, if they want after the election, when UWP will lose miserably, then they could form a brand new party with people with good initiatives and good plans, rejecting all those reject fellas that they're recycling all the time, and maybe people may consider, okay, we have a good opposition party, so we may consider we may consider what plans they have, and maybe in the future they may win a few seats. But right now, with what's going on in the country, the government is working, the ministers are doing fairly well, and I'm very happy that St. Lucians realized their mistake in 2016 to 2021, and then they did the right thing in 2021 by bringing the victory home 15-2. And I do hope and pray that we will do even better the coming election. And for the people of Castries Southeast, I always hear people talking about bad Adventists and this and whatever. I myself am a Seventh-day Adventist, and I'm telling you all straight up, that person you are referring to there, anything that have to do with Adventists, he should not be associated with it, because like people said, and the Bible said that by your fruits you shall know them. And all the things that this guy has been saying and spewing on these platforms shows you very much that he's no Christian. And the people of Castries Office, I'm telling you all did the best thing last election to vote in Joachim Henry. And I'm appealing to you all this time again, vote Lisa Shawai and leave this guy out of politics for the rest of his life. Allow him some time to go and sit, reflect, confess his sins, and for him to consider giving his life back to Christ. Because right now there he's in a very bad state, and anybody who supports him, like the saying, go see Pani City West Panvole. So especially Seventh-day Adventists, none of you should put an X by this guy's name. I thank you.
Thank you.
Have a blessed weekend.
Thank you very much. You as well. All right. So we're going on till 2 o'clock. Don't forget, we probably have time, or maybe we don't. Maybe I should try to read some messages. But if there's a call on the line, we'll take that call. Real Issues, you're on the air. Go ahead. Hello. Hello.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Yes. Good afternoon. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, Mr. Sheldon.
Yes, it is. Go ahead. We're running out of time.
I have a little complaint. You have a guy, man, I won't mention his name, but he is a surveyor. And I give him $1,600 to survey a piece of land for me, and right now I have 2 years. I cannot get a satisfaction. And I went in the government office. I complained that, or the head boss talked to the guy. Up to now, it's the same thing. I went to my lawyer. They sent up paper for him. And I need my money. I 76 years. And I give that man my money. And right now, he have over 2 years from the time that guy owe me. Please.
Yeah.
I hope he can hear what I am saying. His friend can tell him about it.
Yeah, okay.
And them guys is not working to help the community and the field. Them guys is working for problem, because if the government give you a license to help, that's not what you're doing.
Okay. All right.
You have to help the people on the field.
Well, not to help you. You've been hired to
And
do
I
something,
not
means you're
see
being
that
paid.
guy from the
But
time
thank you very much. Thank you very much. We have to go now, okay? I'm sympathetic, and I don't know if there's any association of surveyors or anybody to which you can, complain. If I can get that information, I'll speak about it on Monday when we come back. I'm calling on the 7 Days Church to expel Guy Joseph from the church. Otherwise, we are going to lose lots of our members, including me. And he says, please highlight on your program today, he is evil. I suppose referring to Guy Joseph. Good afternoon, comrade. After this coming elections, when UWP is defeated at the polls, don't expect it to be easy for the UWP to get rid of Chasney. This guy believes he has invested too much in the People's Party, and he will give them a tough time to get him out. All right. Another person says, Badventis refers to Guy Joseph only, not to others. All right, so do we have any other messages? However, the time is going rapidly on us. Let me see, I see something coming in. Another person says, complaints like this can be brought to the Consumer Affairs Department. I suppose that's the matter of the surveyor. All right. I'm trying to see if we have any other messages. I don't think we do. So maybe we'll just have to leave it at that for today and for the week. I'm sure it's 2 o'clock already, Jaquan. So I want to slide out of here. It's been a great week, I think, that we've had. Okay, so have a great weekend as well. And God willing, all things equal, we'll do this again same time, Monday from 12:30 until 2 p.m. on Real FM Radio, NBC Television, Facebook and YouTube live streaming. Real Issues powered by Blue Waters. Shelton Daniel signing off.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real Issues, 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
We voting for
Castries Southeast. This Sunday, September 21st, the St. Lucia Labour Party proudly launches Lisa Jawa here, your candidate who will lead with compassion, vision, and strength. Join us in Ulster as we stand together with our political leader and Prime Minister, Honorable Philip J. Pierre, to celebrate leadership, unity, and progress. This Sunday, Ulster comes alive. Together with Lisa Jawa here and Prime Minister Pierre, we are moving forward together.
Lisa, we voting for. Lisa, we voting for. Hey, Lisa, we voting for.
McDowell's Supplements, an effective way to ensure you and your loved ones are getting the daily recommended intake of essential vitamins, minerals, and other important nutrients necessary for optimal health. Naturally, we carry an array of health and wellness supplements. McDowell's Immune Booster enhances your body's defense to fight colds and flu, boosts your immune system, prevents viruses and other airborne diseases. McDowell's